Welcome to the VEX Robotics Competition Referee Training videos, designed for both referees and teams to learn from. This is Chapter 8, Scoring Rules. Scoring is one of the primary jobs of a VRC referee, so it's important for a ref to know all of the possible scoring scenarios and corresponding point values. There are 4 ways to score in VEX Skyrise. The first way to score, scoring cubes and floor goals for 1 point each. Floor goals are the alliance starting tiles, and a cube is considered scored in a floor goal if it is not touching a robot of the same color, is touching a floor goal of its own color, and is not scored on a Skyrise. These are all examples of cubes scored in a floor goal. And here are examples of cubes not scored in a floor goal. This cube is being touched by a robot of the same color. This cube is scored on a high rise, so it doesn't also count for the floor goal. In this example, the bottom 2 cubes are scored in the floor goal, but the top cube is not scored because it is not touching the goal. The second way to score is scoring cubes on posts for 2 points each. There are 10 posts of varying height around the field perimeter that can be scored upon. A cube is considered scored on a post if it is not touching a robot of the same color and any part of the post is within the volume defined by the outer edges of the cube. Here are examples of cubes scored on posts. That's a red robot touching a blue cube, so it is still scored. Here are examples of cubes not scored on posts. That's a blue robot touching a blue cube, so it is not scored. The top cube in this picture is not considered scored because no part of the post is within the volume defined by the outer edges of that cube. The third way to score is building a Skyrise from Skyrise sections worth 4 points each. A Skyrise section is built if it is not touching a robot of the same color as the alliance starting tile the Skyrise base is adjacent to, and either fully nested within a Skyrise base or fully nested within a Skyrise. Here are examples of fully nested Skyrise sections. This Skyrise section is not fully nested. Neither of these Skyrise sections count as built. The bottom one is being touched by a robot of the same color, and thus the top one is no longer nested in a Skyrise. Here, the third and fourth Skyrise sections do not count as being built. The third is being touched by a robot of the same color, thus the fourth is no longer nested in the Skyrise. However, the first 2 sections do count as built, because they both still meet the full criteria of the definition. The fourth way to score is scoring cubes on a Skyrise for 4 points each. A cube is scored on a Skyrise if it is not touching a robot of the same color and any part of the Skyrise is within the volume defined by the outer edges of the cube of the same color as the alliance starting tile adjacent to the Skyrise base. Thus, you determine a cube scored on a Skyrise exactly the same way as you determine a cube scored on a post. Note, if a cube is scored in a floor goal and on a Skyrise, it will only count on the Skyrise. There are also 3 additional items related to scoring referees need to know about. Item 1. At the end of the autonomous period in a match, the alliance that has scored the most points to that point of the match is awarded a 10-point autonomous bonus. Referees will quickly determine who wins the autonomous bonus. Please do not count the exact score unless completely necessary. All that is needed is to determine which alliance has scored more. In many cases, this will be obvious. Item 2. Post ownership is worth 1 point per owned post. A post is owned by an alliance if its colored cube is the vertically highest scored cube on that post. This will be important at the end of the autonomous period when determining the autonomous bonus winner and at the end of the match when calculating final match score. Item 3. D-scoring. Robots are not permitted to remove any cubes that are scored on a post unless the cubes are either partially above the top of the post or above the defined normal capacity of that post. Please consult Rule SG6 in the manual for more details. That's all for Chapter 8, but make sure you check out other chapters on various specific refereeing issues.